Thanks for being here this morning. We've already had a great time. We've got a great week planned for the game coming up on the 2nd. Iowa and Tennessee have been here now for quite a few days, and their fans are coming in. They're having a great time. The weather's been really good. I think some of the Iowa players were in the ocean up at Amelia a couple days ago. They didn't think it was cold at all. So us Florida boys, though, we weren't in the ocean, I promise you. But no, we're having a great time. We've got some just great two teams here with us today. Great administration. They're having a fantastic time, as I mentioned, and we're just happy to have them here, and look forward to a great game on the 2nd and some other great activities planned between now and then, including the coaches' luncheon today. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Vince. I'm Rick Catlett. I'm president of the TaxSlayer Bowl. And are there any questions that you guys would like to ask any of us about what's going to take place over the next couple of days, and or how the week's gone, or any of that kind of stuff? We'd be glad to answer those questions now before the coaches get here. Ticket sales are right at 60,000. I think we actually are a little over 60,000 now. So we're very pleased and satisfied with where we are. We have averaged over the last 4 or 5 years, although you couldn't tell it last year with the rain, about sales of about 61, 62,000. So we're right where we normally are. We did a commemorative watch, and then we did a Panasonic gifting suite. So they were able to come in and pick any Panasonic device that they would like, from televisions all the way down to games, those kinds of things. And literally they got to go through there and pick what they wanted, and then go online and order it, and it'll be shipped directly to them. Yeah, there's a $550 limit from the NCAA, so they each had $450 to spend. Anything else real quick? Yeah, really easily. As you know, we were on the first for 22 years, and we made the decision last year that with the new CFP coming on, it was even going to get more crowded at on the first. The grand plan of having SEC, Big Ten, and all 3 of the first games starting at 12:30 and 1 o'clock worked for ESPN. It didn't work for the bowl games. We're glad to leave ESPN2, although we set a record last year of bowl games on ESPN2. Glad to get back to ESPN. The best time slot for us, obviously, a Friday and a Saturday for the next 2 years, was the 2nd at 3:30 unopposed. So our ratings should be significantly higher, and that was one of the reasons. We still feel like we're separated from the post-New Year's Eve games, and get the benefit of having no one else in that time slot. So it's our pleasure to welcome Coach Jones, quarterback Josh Dobbs, linebacker, defensive lineman Curt, Maggitt. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir.
Good. I think they schooled me up good. We've had a great week. Got to know Coach a little bit. I can understand why his program is on the rise, and we want to once again let him know that he earned his way here, and we're excited about having him and his players here. And I'll introduce to you now Coach Jones.
Thanks, Rick. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you and Vince and the entire TaxSlayer Bowl committee. Just a first-class bowl, and I spoke about it in the press conference here a few weeks ago. We're embarking on our 50th bowl appearance as a football program, and very fitting that we would be a participant in the 70th annual TaxSlayer Bowl. So thank you. It's been a great experience for our players. A lot of first to first. From a bowl experience to what it takes to prepare. Usually these individuals are used to preparing on a weekly basis or with a bye week, but having this time in between games, taking pride in your performance, all the mental effort, the mental intensity that it takes to prepare with, taking care of your bodies, and it's been a very long season for us. When you look at the inordinate amount of freshmen, we're the youngest football team in college football that just played arguably the most difficult schedule in all of college football. And when we embarked on this journey, we talked about the power of one. Is for us to keep our focus, we had to manage the natural adversities and persevere that a long college football season brings about, and going about it with half of your team never going through that before. And it's been the most challenging year I've ever had in coaching, but also the most rewarding year that I've had in coaching. So our theme was the power of one. We had to focus on one day at a time, one play at a time, one opponent at a time, 1 week at a time, and really be able to zero in on the bullseye. And our players have done that. We've had tremendous leadership from our veteran players. We have very few seniors, but they've provided stability. And then the two individuals with me here today, Curt Maggitt and Joshua Dobbs, have really provided that leadership as well. And the great thing that the people don't see behind the scenes that a bowl game also brings about is the coming together in family of a football team. Right now, these individuals have never played football in December and January nor practiced. And so to be able to sit back and watch the different bowl events, watch this team come closer and closer and closer. And for the most part, our team is intact for a few years coming. So to be able to watch this team grow and bond and really get to know us as coaches off the field, be around our families even more so, has been very, very rewarding. But at the end of the day, I told our football team it's one thing to be a participant in the bowl, it's another thing to win the bowl. And we have to lock in now and focus and do what it takes to play winning football. Everyone's responsible for their own self-determination, and I like what I've seen so far. So I will sit down and then let you guys answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. So direct your question to whoever you'd like to up here, and we'll just start with the first question. Yes, sir.
Well, I think first of all, the overall maturity. You know, we spoke about we had to be a mature football team and understand bowl preparation and accountability. And to date, knock on wood, we haven't had anybody late. They've been 10, 15 minutes early, which we talk about. And when we arrived in Jacksonville, I put it on a number of individuals. I thought it was a tremendous opportunity for leadership and challenged our leadership, starting with Josh, starting with Curt. And they've answered the call. And so I think the big thing is learning how to enjoy yourself, but also focus on the task at hand and get the work done. And our players have had a workmanlike approach each and every day. They've come very focused. And then what I learned is if anybody wants to become a millionaire, I have a new beach game. You can go spend all this money in buying all these beach games, and all we did was set 3 trash cans and a volleyball and try to shoot baskets from about 20 feet, and that seemed to occupy our entire team. But again, also being a part of this bowl game is very, very special. In our profession, it's a very small profession. All the coaches know each other. And when you talk about the Gator Bowl or the TaxSlayer Bowl, it's first class all the way. And for these individuals, for this program to experience their first bowl game in a number of years, experiencing it here, I think will set the tone for many years to come with our football program, but also all the things we've been trying to educate our older players about bowl games and all that. It's been incredible. The people, hospitality, the entire bowl committee, the city of Jacksonville, everyone's been outstanding.
Before we take the next question, Coach, we're going to move you over one because the cameras on the wings can't pick you up. That's all right.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Next question.
What has this week like been for both of you, managing both work on the field and some of the bowl stuff that you're doing off the field?
It's been good. It's been different. When you're at football, you need to lock in on the task. You need to focus on what you have to get better at practice, focus on the game plan, focus on execution. And then when you're outside of football, you need to be able to, let your hair down, and just be able to relax, get around your teammates, and have some fun. But just knowing when to flip the switch on and off, that's what we're all learning, and we've done a good job at it.
Yeah, I agree with what Dobbs said. Like Coach said as well, it's about the maturity of our team. And with that, when we're at practice, it's a business-like approach and a business mindset. And like Dobbs said, when we're off the field, we can enjoy each other's company and just have fun. And do all the great events that TaxSlayer has ready for us.
Well, it did change, and we have to play to the skill set of our players. And Joshua presents a very unique skill set, and obviously his skills are running the football, but also some different things in the throw game. So, you know, when he became our quarterback, you're always adapting, adjusting again to the strengths of your players. And I thought our entire coaching staff had done a great job, but you have to have flexibility within your offensive system, and we have great flexibility within our offensive system to play to the skill set of the players around it, particularly at quarterback. The thing that Josh is different is obviously he's very, very competitive. He's very, very cerebral. But even though he wasn't playing early, he gained some valuable repetitions last year as being the starting quarterback at the University of Tennessee and understanding all the different dynamics that is associated with being the quarterback at Tennessee, but also the repetitions in spring football, August training camp. And even though, you know, he was a backup for part of the year, he was still gaining those valuable repetitions. And we always speak to our quarterbacks and everyone in our football program, you're always one snap away. And you never know when that one snap is going to occur. And a lot of individuals, when you have a senior in front of them, you're kind of going through the thought process of a possible red shirt. A lot of individuals will shut it down. And to his credit, he prepared every week as though he was the starter. And I think it's a great illustration is when you look at his career, last year when he was a true freshman, we played the University of Florida and he wasn't even on the travel squad. And then I believe 2 weeks later, he's our starting quarterback. And he defines perseverance, resiliency. I believe that comes from his mother and his father. He's had a great upbringing. He's very prideful. And he defines a student athlete. Aeronautical engineering, although he did bring down our team GPA at the quarterback position. I believe he had a 3.7, was it?
Something like that.
Maybe a 3.3. And so I had him stand up in our team meeting, and when they gave it to him, he also had to tell him his class schedule, and nobody wanted any part of that. But I think that's a tribute to him of being able to answer the call when you're called upon. And a lot of people quit when success is imminent, success is right there. In today's society, it's easy to quit and give in, and he never did that. Now he's reaping the rewards, and all the other players have rallied around him. He has leadership characteristics. He's taken control, and they believe in him, and that's the biggest thing. They believe in him.
Question back here.
He's helped me a lot, not even from the season, but from the day I stepped on campus. Here we have a big brother mentorship program, and Justin was my big brother coming in, so just being able to be under him and learn from him and see him teach me the offense and go from there, and then having him on the sideline now as a resource is awesome to see him talk about his game experience and what I should do better since I'm still learning. So he's definitely been a resource for me since he's gotten injured, and I'm very thankful for him. I have had some, and it wasn't really a whirlwind from last year. I gained a lot of experience from last year, so I knew what it was like, but it was good to go back and reflect on the last month as a team and see how far we've come and all the accomplishments we've had, and to see that we put ourselves in a position to be playing a meaningful game in January, and we're excited about our opportunity and excited for the game.
Hello, Mark Morehouse from the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Curt. I'm over here, I'm sorry.
All right.
Curt, I imagine you and Derek have a bit of a competition in sacks, tackles for loss. Can you talk about that and talk about bringing up a young player like that? I mean, I imagine you've been a pretty good mentor for him.
Yeah, Derek's, he's a unique person, a real, very mature person off the field and very mature guy on the field, and I got a lot of respect for him. We do compete a lot, and before every game, we counting during the game. I'm going to get a sack this series. I'm going to beat your sack. How many sacks you got this game so far? And it's a lot of competition in it, but we also look at it. It's not just between us. It's the D-line, the D tackles inside, Jordan, OB, those guys doing the dirty work. Not really getting the statistics, but pushing the pocket, keeping the quarterback from being comfortable. And a lot of credit go to Coach Tripp and Coach Walt. We work it every day, third effort drills, and I give all the appreciation to them.
What kind of clicked for you as a pass rusher down the stretch, and just what was it like for you all year to have to really play two positions? What kind of all went into that? How did you kind of balance your time? What was just that whole situation like?
Thanks. I enjoy playing two positions. I enjoy doing whatever the defense needs of me, and I think throughout the season I've gotten a lot better. I think that's from Coach Thigpen, Coach Tripp, just going back and forth, as well as Coach Chancic, just learning and understanding where my errors were. It's a lot of small things, false steps here, bad hand placement, bad eyes, a lot of small things early. And once I got that cleaned up, my game picked up a lot.
Butch, Jeff Elliott, right here. Jeff Elliott with the Florida Times-Union. Can you talk about Brandon Sheriff, All-American Outland Trophy winner, what he means to the Iowa offense and how you're going to counter him?
Well, he's a great player, very deserving of all the postseason awards, preseason awards, all the accolades that his play has brought about. And it's going to be a great challenge to our entire defensive front, obviously with Curt and Derek as well. But they're very, very well coached. When you look at an Iowa program, it always stems up front, basically from the head coach on down. And they play with great technique, great pad level, the ability to sustain blocks at the second level, and they're good at what they do. They run an execution-based system, and he plays with an edge. And we always talk to our players about finishing plays and playing with a hard edge. We have a thing in our football program called the 63 mentality. And the average football play lasts 4 to 6 seconds long. And the standard in our football program is you play for 6 seconds and you give 3 great efforts on every single snap. So if you were to walk into the Anderson Training Center back in Knoxville, you see 63 all over the place. Their offensive front defines 63 for them. They play exceptionally hard, and it's going to be a great challenge, but also a great opportunity. And, especially the continued growth and development of Curt and Derek, they're playing against a first-round draft choice. And as a competitor, you want to play against the best of the best, and they're definitely going to be playing against the best of the best.
Stay on the left.
Coach, it's Don Colbert with the Times-Union. Getting to a bowl game is certainly a reward for a good season, but as a coach, especially with such a young team, what did it mean to get the 15 or so extra practices, and how does that set you up for the future?
Invaluable. So many things in raising a football program, and I'm so proud of this football team and these players. If you look at the so-called experts, we were picked to win 3 and 4 games this year, and there's a unique dynamic that's going on at Tennessee. We're basically building a football program. I call this an expansion team when the season started, but we're building a college football program in the most difficult football conference in the country, in the SEC, and it's a challenge. And with these freshmen, they were forced at 17 years old to have to play in this conference against 22, 23, 24-year-old individuals. And so the maturity level was critical. We asked a lot of them, sometimes maybe unrealistic, but it's where we're at in our football program. We're still a long ways away from the development. It's been a unique bowl practice because everyone talks about, well, it's a great time to develop your youth. All of our youth is playing. So just those extra practices to continue to work on the skill set, the individual skill set, and we had 3 phases. The first phase of bowl practice was fundamental improvement, individual improvement, really the fine details of winning football, pride and performance, all the things that we talk about. You heard Curt talk about hand placement, all the things that go into it. And then it was installing the game plan and then game week preparation. And our players have done a great job, but not just on the field. The other thing that was critical is we have a very long break. So when you play the inordinate amount of youth that we have, their growth and development in the strength and conditioning area is kind of set back a little bit. So it was also a great opportunity to go back and reassert ourselves in our strength and conditioning program in the weight room, and also continue to grow and bond as a football team. So these practices have been absolutely invaluable in moving forward.
Coach, back to Iowa's front offensively, is there a team in the SEC that you can relate their running game to?
Well, they're very big and physical up front. You know, the team that we played that was very big and physical up front was Alabama in terms of their size and the structure of their offense. But, you know, everyone basically in our conference, you know, has big offensive linemen up front. That's kind of the way of life for us. But Iowa's very, very well coached. They do what they do, and they execute. And their players understand all the nuances behind the play. There isn't anything that they haven't seen in order to execute. Then they do a great job with the play-action game. They have skill out on the perimeter. So, again, I think this is one of the biggest challenges that we will have as an entire football team all year, just because of the high level of physicality. And they're a veteran football team. You know, they pride themselves in redshirting their players. They pride themselves of having 4th and 5th year players in their program. They've been there. They've done that. They've played in big games. They played in January bowl games. They played LSU. You know, they've played these type of teams before. So nothing is new to them. So they definitely have the, you know, the advantage in terms of experience and having been there and been through bowl preparation and all that.
Scott Sable from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, KCRG TV. This is for both the players. Curt, first of all, talking a little bit what your coach talked about going up against Brandon and some of the offensive linemen. And then Josh, if you can just talk about the Iowa defense and what you see from them on film.
Yeah, first thing watching film against Iowa, the first thing pop out is their offensive line. All across the board is real big guys and physical guys, and it's going to be a challenge for us, and we're up for it. Early in the year, we were talked about being too small, too young defensive line, but we take pride in our performance, and we play for each other. And you will see that this upcoming week against them, and we're up for the challenge.
And defensively, Iowa, they're very disciplined defense, very, very physical defense, and it shows on film. So our goal is to execute the game plan. Coach Jake has made a great game plan for us, and we know what we have to do, and we know what we need to do on Friday. So our goal is to go out there, execute the best we can.
Josh, I guess the last 2 years for you have gone pretty similarly in that you've, you know, kind of come on late in the season. I guess from a leadership standpoint, how much different was it coming in this season than when you were a freshman last year? And I guess how different is it? You know, does it feel like this is your team and your offense more now this year than it was last year?
I do feel like it's more my offense this year. And last year, you know, I came on late in the season, but all throughout last season and this season, I've been a leader, I've been a constant leader. I've been on the player staff both years, and I've done a great job of leading my teammates. I need to continue to do that, but obviously being the starting quarterback, you have more say behind your word and more power behind your word. So the team has done a great job of rallying and getting ready for this bowl game.
Question for Butch. You've got a couple of former Jacksonville high school players in Kenny Bynum and Jakob Johnson that have been competing there at the Mike linebacker spot. How's that position gone, and have you been able to determine a starter at this point?
Well, they still have a couple days left to practice, but Kenny Bynum has done a great job from the mental side of things. He understands the defense, what we're trying to do, and that's very, very critical. The Mike is the quarterback of your defensive scheme. So from setting the front to the blitz patterns, different things coverage-wise, Jakob Johnson continues to improve greatly. I think Jakob is a tremendous story. You know, really 1 year of high school football that came in Jacksonville, Florida. When we recruited him, we saw an individual had tremendous potential, great talent, but we knew it would take some time mentally for him to adapt and adjust. He's one of those individuals that has really stepped up. He's a student of the game. He understands what it takes in terms of preparation, and he's been mentored by Curt and a lot of the leaders on defense. So both these individuals have done a great job, and they'll be game ready come Friday.
Hi, Butch. Mike Halas from the Gazette in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I've only been around you for a little bit now, twice, but you seem to burn pretty brightly. You seem pretty intense. Is that a fair description of you in general, and where does that come from?
Well, I love the word passion. I think anything you do in life is all about passion. And I grew up in a small town in Saugatuck, Michigan. I had 62 individuals in my graduating class. My father was the chief of police, and my mother was the hospital administrator. And they taught me at a very early age of what it takes from a work ethic. It's a resort community. And so I was a dishwasher at the local restaurant downtown at age 14. I wanted to quit, and my mom and dad would not allow me to quit. I had to pay for my college education. I was a walk-on. And so I think that work ethic was instilled by my parents. It's interesting you ask that question because we're sitting, and that's one of the things that a bowl game brings about is I'm sitting eating breakfast today with some of the kids, and Dan O'Brien looks at me and says, Coach, how come you have energy all the time? Where did it come from? Did you know you wanted to coach? And I started talking about, I believe I'm being brought up, and I've been very fortunate to be around a lot of great football coaches, but I was a graduate assistant, then I was the intramural director and men's tennis coach, and I don't know a thing about coaching tennis. I drove the van, and I was the offensive coordinator at Division III school in Wilkes University, and I knew I had to get a jump start on my career, so I was a full-time employee. I quit that. I went to go back to my alma mater, Ferris State, and take a 9-month position with a wife and a kid and $17,000 a year and no benefits. And these are all the things that people don't see. They see right now, but they don't see the struggles that your families bring about. And so I was there, and then I was in the MAC for 8 years, and I finally got my chance at a big-time college football program in West Virginia, and Rich Rodriguez, and we actually played here in 2006, and it's kind of been going back in time because my wife was pregnant with our third son, Adam, and she was not allowed to go to the Gator Bowl. And I'm staying one villa down from when we came here with West Virginia, and that's when Central Michigan came and interviewed me here to be their head football coach and offered me the job that evening in the villa. And so it's kind of been a stroll back memory lane, but I think when you start from ground zero and you work your way up, when you get an opportunity like I've been blessed with at the University of Tennessee, it makes you appreciate it that much more. And the University of Tennessee is a very unique place. It's bounded by passion. We're the state institution. Everything runs through Knoxville. We have a great fan base, very, very supportive. And they've opened our arms to this entire football team, and I think the entire country will see the passion of Vol Nation come Friday at the game. But I just think you have to have approach every day. I want to be the best at everything that we do. I say it, we're building the best football family in America, and it's going to take a lot of hard work, but we spend a lot of time on our style of play. And I just think, John Gordon, right here from Jacksonville, wrote the Energy Bus. He was at our practice. We brought him in, and he talked about no organizations can have energy vampires. And so these individuals, we read the team book, and we all have a word. And going into the season, my word was focus. I had to be focused, not let any clutter, distraction that creep in throughout the course of a football season affect on how we develop our football program. So I love the game. I love to compete. I love our players, and I love the University of Tennessee. And I've been blessed with a great opportunity and going to take full advantage of it in impacting kids. Being able to impact kids, the definition of coaching is creating change, and that's what we're doing right now. And so I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to coach these individuals and our entire football team.
This is for both of the players. I know later today you guys will visit one of the children's hospitals, and we ran a story about y'all's relationship with A.J. Cooksey, the 4-year-old who had a rare form of brain cancer, and you paid a visit to him, Joshua. Can you talk about how important it is that you guys reach out, not just to members of the Tennessee community, but also to members of the community here, and pay a visit to the children's hospital and talk about y'all's time with them?
Well, I think it's great every time we get an opportunity to go and visit kids or whoever it is we're visiting with situations, and it opens your eyes to see that life's a lot bigger than football and what we do daily. Playing football, you kind of live in a bubble, and you don't really realize some things are a lot more serious. And when you meet these kids, and throughout my experience, I've met a lot of kids, women, a lot of kids, girls and boys that's going through things like cancer and whatnot, but they always had a smile on their face day in and day out, and just real strong, and just they brighten my day every time I got a chance to see or talk to them, and it just opened your eyes to let you be grateful and thankful for everything you have.
Just like Curt said, he's exactly right. I had the opportunity to actually go and visit AJ this past week at his house, and it was great to see his energy, his passion that he had. He was talking ball with me, talking about the Tennessee Titan game, talking about our team. He's more excited for the bowl game, just as excited as all of the players. So it's great to see his passion and see his perseverance as he goes through tough times. But it's always great to see the kids going through various things and get out and give back to the community. And they definitely put a smile on our faces and keep us going every day.